Hello guys, welcome back to my video for Derek. Sorry, hi guys. Let's start again quickly before we go. Hi guys, hello guys, how are we all doing? Welcome back to my video for K Days and K Diaries, of course. So before you get into the video, hit the subscribe button right here. So we're talking about which 10 players, tour card holders, are in danger of losing their PDC tour cards. As the PDC Pro Tour season is set to begin with a round of 2 Players' Championships and 2 Euro Tour qualifiers at the sumptuous Wobbin Park Tennis Centre in Wigan, but dartsnews.com continues and its preview of 2025 edition of a tour card looking at 10 players, those tour cards, and versus their professional status at the risk of who would have to face agony of a trip to Q-School in January next year to save their tour cards. But on a native and a tour card international essential the key to professional status, but within the sports of darts. So, and with cards going into the top 128 in the world, 28 players in the world, having traditionally qualified through Q-School, but sometimes by other means, giving them free access to all free Players' Championship events, as well as various qualifiers for all 14 European tours and some majors like the Grand Slam, World Darts Championship and the recent World Masters. But the tour card holders are also guaranteed a spot at the UK Open, another large opportunity to earn ranking money. But essentially, if you want to create a name for yourself in the sport, a tour card is vital to cement the foundations of a legacy in darts. However, keeping your tour card is a challenge in itself, but when you win a tour card, you get 2 years to accrue as much as ranking money as possible. The aim for landing in the top 64 in the world to extend your professional stints in another year with money, but being gradually taken off your ranking based on performance from 2 years ago. And a lot of these players are in one of the situations either, but they have not enough money in their first year as a professional, and risk not making the top 64 by the end of a year. So that's the rules on the PDC Order of Merit. But they are currently in the top 64, but they are defending a lot of money from 2023. But the risk being overtaken and falling out of the 64. So first player we're talking about, José de Sousa. Got back 5 years, and the Portuguese #1, José de Sousa, is one of the players that in the world winning a major title in the Grand Slam and being selected for consecutive Premier League stints, but reaching the final of the 2021 edition. However, he's now at a risk of losing his tour card, but first ending Portuguese representation on the Pro Tour. But since the start of 2023, he's had a sharp downfall in the rankings, and the 50-year-old currently ranks number 45 in the world and a shadow of his former self. But he's now entering a crucial time in his professional career as he's defending a man mount for 113.25K with a Pro Tour final, as well as previous appearances at the World Match Play and second round runs at the European and the World Championships to boot in 2023. So yes, his 2024 season was nothing short of woeful, but however the special one, not winning a single game on the European Tour, but failing to qualify for ranking majors other than the UK Open all year. But his best Pro Tour run all year were quarterfinals at Players' Championship 1 and 28 thus far, but he has only earned 11.75k, but all of 2024, meaning he faces a massive uphill battle to remain in the top 64 at the end of this year, in which qualification for more major events is a must. But he failed to achieve this in the World Masters, losing out in the last 64 in the preliminary round last Wednesday with an underwhelming 83.70 average to Andy Bartons. He will have ample opportunity to rectify this year later in the year, but realistically he needs to get back to form he showed at the early 2020s Otherwise, we could see De Souza back at Q School come 2026 if he doesn't qualify for the Players' Championship finals and the World Championships. That is a muff. But a lot of people thinking that Mencius Suljovic. Asked anybody Austrian about the darts, and one of the first names he will mention is that of Mencius Suljovic, who has sat atop in the Austrian darting tree for the last 10 years, reaching as high as world number 5 in 2017, as well as winning a major or belted the ranking with 2017 Champions League nowadays, though the Johnson, but a former Premier League protagonist as well in 2 seasons, but languishing precariously close to outside the top 64, ranking 62nd in the world. But he had not been for the last gas qualifying for the World Championship through the Pro Tour Order of Merit, and it was helped by keeping his tour card. But the Austrian number 1 might even have been dropped from the Pro Tour last year. However, 2024 was a decent year for him, reaching the last 64 of the UK Open, including a massive televised scalp over Michael van Gerwen, and reaching a second World Cup final with Austria teammate Roby John Rodriguez, and qualifying for the World Championship last year. But combined with this, with a poor 2023 season, only making 21.75k, but while there is a chance we see Suljovic drop off the tour for 2025, but he is no doubtfully the greater argument for him to growing from strength to strength, moving up the rankings, similar to Ian White last year, although 2024 showed prizes with Suljovic showing flashes of his old form, but his 2025 began with a setback at the World Masters, also losing the last 64 on a preliminary round, but with a highly respectable 96.82 average against phenomenal Florian Hempel, averaging in excess over 110 en route. And let's talk about Ferry Bampier, the one you consider one of the best young prospects in the world, and Bampier is now languishing in deaths on the Order of Merit. But remember, a former World Youth Championship final, Wallace bolted, but has experienced some setbacks demonstrated with his infamous dartitis during 2017 in Grand Slam, but he has managed to successfully rebound for the 3rd time on the Pro Tour, winning his spot via the Challenge Tour Order of Merit in 2023. But his first year back on the professional circuit has been mixed, but with only 1 Euro Tour qualification all year. But he is sitting 72nd in the world, but his performances on the Pro Tour have been consistent, if slightly underwhelming, with regular runs so to the 3rd round. But he did have a whopping 117.88 average against Christian Kiss before failing just short of the last 64 to Cameron Menzies. But these solid performances could create a springboard for Bampier to build on the rest of the year, meaning the Dutchman could see a breakthrough year in 2025, or it could not be beyond realistic realms of possibility to see him retain his card for 2026, sneaking into the top 64 at the end of the year. Jelle Klaassen, once top of the world at Lakeside, Jelle Klaassen, now he has it all to do in 2025 to remain on the PDC Pro Tour for another year. Klaassen seemed poised on a resurgence in 2024 following his strong 2022 performance, but his first year back on the Pro Tour has been far more challenging than expected, so expecting Klaassen to have a big year. Andy Barton's another one, who won the Lakeside, in 2023. But he has a bright future in the PDC circuit. I was suggesting that surpassed the likes of a lot of players from Belgium, likes of Dimitri van den Berg, Mike De Decker, Mario van der Bohade, Kim Huybrechts. So after solid runs at Players Championship 2 and 12, reaching the 2nd round at the 2 European events, Bartons became to Guyane around September. But despite that, but he qualified for the World Masters, then he lost to Luke Littler. But I think he has a lot to do to try and save his tour card, that's for sure. Matt Campbell, the leading light of the North American darts within the last 5 years. Matt Campbell has somewhat of a Pro Tour sample since he's won his tour card for the first time in 2020. Despite being number 54 in the world, Ginger Ninja is in his risk of losing his tour card at the year, but he needs a very good consistent year to save his tour card. But he did beat Mensah Suljovic at the World Championships before losing to Ryan Searle. So he needs to stay in the upper echelons if he wants to save his tour card. And Steve Lennon, understandably, truly, Steve Lennon, we need to go back at 2019. Lennon, alongside teammate William O'Connor, had just put in a performance of his careers in Hamburg to get the Republic of Ireland of their first ever World Cup final, eventually losing out to the Scottish duo of Gary Anderson and Peter Wright. But his 2024 form has to be concerned, to be honest. Like, he's won his tour card by, you know, is another big name who needs a good year as well, as is Jim Williams as well. A lot of people think Jim Williams could be on the top 32, but he hasn't shown that form. We know what he's capable of. But he lost to Parland of Raider at the World Championships, and that was a shock to many eyes. But he needs a big year. And finally, right, Dom Taylor. It's certainly been an eventful first year on the Pro Tour for Dom Taylor, with the highs of the Pro Tour quarterfinals and impressive statistics of winning his opening game of all 4 of his European Tour appearances last year, but massively of a suspension in November due to failing a drug test. But this caused the Tower to miss the both Players' Championship finals and the World Championship, which will have a large amount of guaranteed money to add his ranking. But he'll start all over again this year, and I think he'll need a better year if he wants to try and get into top 64. And Jules Van Dongen has had a struggle for 12-18 months, but he's starting from zero again. But Jules Van Dongen needs a miracle to save his tour card, or otherwise we're likely to see him at Q-School again to start all over again. So that's my predictions for which 10 players are in danger of losing their tour cards. Leave your comments below, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye!